Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I would like to take a moment just to thank you all for the emails that I received from yesterday's topic. And I got some requests to kind of follow up with yesterday's topic. So let's continue with some of the statements that was made that I found from some of you in your emails. And one of the things in particular that you ask is, and I'm going to go ahead and quote something from one specific email. And this was the question: Pastor KZ, how do I start over? Help me heal from my brokenness. I've been with a man 40 years, and he's cheated, he's lied, he's disrespected me. He's even brought a woman into our home. I just can't go on like this anymore. Now he's sick, and according to the wedding vows of our marriage, we're supposed to be together in sickness and in health, for better or for worse. I'm at both phases of this. It is for the worse, and now he's sick. Now if I leave, everybody is going to be judging me. She says, I'm now stuck with taking care of him, and I resent him. I resent everything about this. And she says, as a Christian, I know that this is wrong to feel. I know I have the wrong attitude, but this man has broken me over the years. Okay, I'm going to leave it at that. But I want to thank you again for sending this email. And what is happening, y'all, is people is shining a light on so much stuff that has been going on that no one ever really talks about, because it's pretty much taboo to talk about these things. So in sharing these emails, not only are you helping yourself, but you're helping a whole lot of other people that's going through the same thing, but they just don't talk about it. So again, thank you, and thank you all for your willingness to share some of your pain, some of the things that you go through. But as I said on yesterday, I am in no way an expert on relationships. I am not. I'm not even a guru or a novice. I know that it's so many people far more qualified than I am to speak on this, but I do have some thoughts about it, and I'd like to share some of just my personal opinions about it. And this story, what I share briefly, it could be a number of women's story. So don't feel like you are alone and that you're the only one going through it. My sister, it's so many people going through the same thing, that it may be in a different way. So let's talk a little bit more about my opinion. And first and foremost, I want you to feel free to give yourself permission to grieve. What you mean by that, Pastor K? To grieve? She's not grieving. In a sense, she's grieving the loss of herself. Over 40 years that she has committed to a relationship, and she continued to stay in a relationship where she has not been treated very well, where she has been betrayed in a sense, and she is hurt. And you know what, y'all? Over the years, when you don't deal with that hurt and those issues that lead up to your pain, it festers and it goes on for years, until now she's in this at year 40, and now she's broken. And this is where we try to avoid getting to. But this is so many women's story, is that they stay and they stay, and for whatever reason they stay, it ends up being just a broken spirit, a broken heart. And it leads to that bitterness and that resentment that she's talking about, she feel. And now the man's sick, and now she's now not only his wife, but now she's his caregiver. And can you imagine having to help bathe someone, help shave someone, all of these things she was saying in her email that she does for this man. And she says, I hate every moment of it. That's sad. That's really sad. And then she got the guilt going on because of her Christian faith. She feels guilty. Here's a man that has not treated her well, and now I got to take care of somebody who I don't even like. So first and foremost, she has to give herself a chance to grieve, and it's all right to feel. That's the thing. We're so accustomed to putting what we feel and stuffing it down and putting it on the back burner, or just pretending that you don't feel it or it's not going on. So now, in essence, you begin to lie to yourself and start taking on this persona that everything is okay, and it just builds up and builds up. And that loneliness that she's experienced, because she says over the years, it's like she's not even in a marriage. She's like, she feels lonely. She feels like she's in it by herself because of his constant cheating and not being present in the relationship. Give yourself an opportunity to say, yes, I'm hurt. It's okay to be honest. And a lot of people don't like when you're honest about something. You have got to take care of yourself first. Because if you don't take care of yourself, apparently no one else is doing it for you. You've got to begin to let people know that, you know what, I know what you're saying and what you think about this, but I just need some time. I need time to heal, and that's okay. Do not let anyone tell you how you should feel, because then when you start allowing people to dictate how you feel about the situation, it just gets you confused, and it brings on all different types of opinions. Do not, and I'm going to repeat this, do not suppress pain. And this is on any level. When you start keeping pain stuffed in, it's going to combust at some point. Do not waste your energy beating yourself up. So many people like to make you try to feel guilt and shame and blaming yourself. Now you turn the thing back on to, what did I do wrong? And so many Black women do this. We take on other people's problems or other people's misdeeds, and then we make it about us. What did I do wrong? I tried so hard. No, you are not responsible for individuals' behavior. There are just some men out there who, women, at some point you choose to be with them and you continue to stay with them, and then you look back over your life years down the line and you begin to realize, I wasted too much time there. And you know what? By then, and I heard a woman say this the other day in conversation, she says, I wasted so much time there, I feel, but where am I going to go? What am I going to do? I am past my prime, and you know what? It's too late for me to start over again. I'm just not going to get in that dating pool again in my 60s. And I so get what that woman was saying, but you know what? You got women in their 30s with the same story. And you know what's worse? You have young ladies in their 30s, the 30 to 40 age group, started off when they were 18, 19, in their 20s, in these bad, dysfunctional relationship with these men who didn't know how to be men and didn't know how to treat them. And some of these young ladies did not have the village. I spoke about having your village in several videos ago. You, as a young lady, you got to have women in your circle, and from all levels, meaning your grandmothers, your aunties, you know, your mom. You got to have women in your circle to teach you, to train you. But I'm going to say it, and it's going to hurt some women feeling, but I'm going to just put it out there. There's some women out there, you can't teach that you don't know. So these young girls is growing up, and they looking at the women in their circle, and they are repeating the same thing that they did. And all I'm trying to say is, right now, you've got to give yourself permission to grieve. And most importantly, you got to give yourself permission to heal. You've got to decide that I ain't going to take this no more. I'm done here doing this. You can't treat me like this and think that it's okay. You cannot repeatedly cheat on me and think this is okay. Because when you as a woman begin to do that, what happens is your self-worth and your self-esteem goes in the toilet. You start blaming yourself. And ladies, I'm gonna just deviate for a moment here and let you know, when a man tell you it's your fault that he ran out on you, that's a lie. That's a lie. And then you got these broken women running around here. They don't feel good about themselves. They beating themselves up, berating themselves, and you begin to think something is wrong with you. I tried to be the perfect wife. I was the perfect mother. I did everything that I was supposed to do, and I still got left. I still got cheated on. I still got beat on. No woman deserves that. I don't care who tells you that. No woman deserves to have nobody put their hands on them. If y'all got to be doing all of that type of combative behavior, you need to part ways. You deserve better. And I don't care who tells you it's your fault that a no good man mistreated and mishandled you. They're giving you the wrong information. Young ladies, I'm going to say this because a lot of women in their 40s, 50s, and 60s and up have been emailing me, because a lot of them say, I just don't like writing comments. I feel comfortable writing emails, even though the emails can be paragraphs, but it gives them an opportunity to vent more and speak what's in their heart that they would never verbalize in the comments, because they say, well, in the comments, it'll identify who I am, and I kind of like to remain anonymous, so they prefer to email me. So what I'm doing is sharing things with you. And one of the things that this particular email, this lady said, was she's a Christian and she know having that resentment in her heart. She said, I borderline hate him. And she said, and I know that's wrong. She says, I am a regular attendee and I'm a willing participant in our church activities, but I sit there and I'm just shaking my head, because literally some services I'm checked out emotionally, because all I'm thinking about is I got to go home and bathe him, or I got to go home and cook something special for him because he's on a special diet. She said, I begin to sit there and really I'm checked out of the service because I'm dreading going home. She said, I leave the house and go to church just to get away from him. I involve myself in activities so I don't have to be home with him. Now, and I did give her some the options. I said, you can easily hire a nurse, hire somebody to come in to shave him and to do that. They have male home health care aides. So just get with his insurance company and pursue that. Have some men come in there and shave him and bathe him and do those things. That'll alleviate some of that stress off of you. And another thing is, let me say this, some of the hardest people on earth is Christian people or church going people with the judgment. They judge you. They have so many opinions. And a lot of times, by the time you speak to some of these church women, you feel like you're nothing because they've torn you down. And they make you believe that something is really wrong with you. You didn't pray enough. You didn't fast enough. You didn't get before the throne. All of these cliches and stuff, when they themselves probably going through some of the same thing you going through. There's so many broken church women, so many broken church Christian women out there. You know how many Christian women have written to me and they are victims of abuse? Their husband have put their hands on them. Some of these women stayed in marriages and them men didn't do nothing but physically whoop on them. And they stayed because somebody told them, no matter what you do, you stay with your husband and you pray your way through. You praying your way through black eyes. You praying your way through broken noses. You praying your way through broken ribs. You praying your way until one day, this same man, now he's sick and now you his caregiver. Y'all, let's be real here. That can't be easy for a woman. So spiritually, you've got to find a way to reconnect yourself with the Most High. You've got to spiritually get reconnected. And don't expect your hurt to go away. That's unrealistic. It's not going to go away instantly. Some people say, oh, when the Lord moved that hurt from me, it just happened overnight. That's a lie. That might be her story, but that's not a whole lot of women's story. So don't expect that the hurt and the pain going to go away overnight and everything is going to be okay. Another thing is I want to say is there is a difference between when you're depressed and when you're despondent. That depression can lead to despondency where you can't get out of bed, where you can't just you can't go on. You stuck somewhere. See, depression sometimes have its highs and lows. Sometimes they're good days, sometimes they're bad days, but then when you reach and when you find yourself, I just can't get beyond this. Now you're falling into despondency, and that's a danger zone. Even mild depression, you can kind of pull yourself through it, but when it just doesn't go away and it's weeks, and then the weeks turn into months, the months turns into year, you've got to be careful. Breakups and being in relationships where you feel like you are stuck there, that is very complicated. It's very complicated, and it's even harder for a woman to remain in a relationship. And I'm going to tell you the number one reason most women stay is they have children. See, some women will not put their children first, but there's so many women have made sacrifices and stayed because they did not want to uproot their children, and they wanted their children to remain in a stable home, even if it meant I got to put up with this nonsense off of this here joker. And I can't stand him, but I know leaving with 3, 4, 5 children is hard for a woman, especially a woman to pay all of the bills by herself, especially nowadays. But I also talk to women who are older women who say, yes, my children are grown and got their own children, and I stayed because you got to remember time frames and generations of women. Like the generation of women like in our mother's age range or our grandmother's age range, the women that's in their 70s and 80s and 90s in some cases, they stayed because that was a different time. Back then in the 50s and the 60s, and even prior to that, there wasn't a sometime where women barely could vote and barely could own property. So mostly everything, some of those women from our older generations, our ancestor women, everything was tied to their husband, the property, the home, they had no voice. Now it's a lot different where women do have options and choices, but when some women stay because of the children, they got a lot of things to deal with. And I applaud you, my sisters, who able to do that, but you got to understand there comes a time when emotionally you have to heal from when you have dealt with brokenness. And I just wanted to come on today because the emails kept saying you left so much out, and we could just go on with this discussion. And I will repeat this and revisit this and add more to these, in the weeks coming in. I like to do it, once or twice a month. And as the sister said to me yesterday, as some of you sisters been saying to me, now, Pastor KZ, you good spiritually with all of that stuff, but we need you sometime to talk about something we going through in these emails you don't address. And a lot of the problem is their home life, their marriages, or their relationships. And something else came up in another email I want to address before I get off today is this was a question. How do you deal with a broken relationship or breaking up or divorce, and the man still think that y'all should be friends, or he should still have certain, and I'm going to put it this way, read between the lines, privileges? You know what I'm saying, ladies? So let me say this. In other words, what the lady is saying, we broke up. He's now living with his new woman, but he still thinks he has a right to come through. And I'm just going to put it to you that way. If a man can only do what you allow him to do, if you allow him to do that, and then here's another woman saying, but I still love him and I'm hoping that he'll change his mind and come back to me. I have a series of t-shirts, and everybody know what the t-shirts say. It says boy bye, but for you I'm going to say to you, girl, bow with that. You don't love yourself. Something missing in you, that you would still give your body to a man that left you for another woman and have made another woman his choice and priority, and you still allow that. I don't know. I don't know what y'all think about that. And trust me, there's so many women doing it. But to me, just in my opinion, because I told you this is not expert opinion, y'all ask my opinion on this. He didn't choose you. He left you. And you still gonna allow him periodically to come back through? That's a no-go for me. Now, I get, like I said, I get that some of you are co-parenting in that co-parenting situation, but the bottom line is you must prioritize your self-care. Don't sit around and expect people to feel sorry for you and do things that you can do for yourself. Because when you start sitting around and you always talking about this story, my question to you is going to be, what are you doing about it? You've got to get up and do something about it. And you got to nurture yourself. You've got to take care of yourself, because mental health is an issue in the melanated women community. I don't care what anybody say. Some of the, and I said it, I'm going to repeat it, and I stand by it. Some of the most broken women on earth is melanated women. And I'm talking about black women, Latino women. As I said, no disrespect to our other sisters who are non-melanated, but this ain't for y'all. Y'all got y'all own issues, but I am talking about black women who historically have been beat down emotionally, physically, and guilted spiritually. The most broken women. And you repeatedly have to understand, when you meet these men and you already coming from a place of brokenness, and now you desperate and you feel like time is running out or you can't do any better than this, that is when the problems get worse and worse. So you start taking more and more when you deserve better. You deserve better. Love on yourself, and always know when the season is up. Know when this is up. You know right away within the first 30 days. Steve Harvey say 90 days. Women know sometimes, within the first 2 weeks of talking to this joker, this ain't gonna work out for me. The minute there is a red flag that come up in his behavior, the minute that man start cursing you out and calling you out of your name, honey, you need to get out of that. Don't be allowing these men to move into your home. And for goodness sake, don't bring these men over your daughters and some your sons. Don't bring these men in your home you just met at the bar or the club. You just met at an event and you moved this man in your house. Some of you don't realize you opening your children up to something. And there's some men, and I'm going to share this with you, and I'm going to do a whole series, a week or two series on this at a much later date. But I've gotten emails from some men who say they seek out women with daughters so they can, okay? So ladies, be careful. Prioritize your self-care. Nurture yourself. Protect your children at all costs. Don't you let a man come in there and start beating on your children. And I'm not going to say this is just male specific, because there are some women of the other persuasion. You letting these women come in here and beat on your children. You letting these women beat on you. Something's wrong with your self-esteem, your self-worth. Value yourself. Love on yourself. Stop allowing nonsense. If it is not working, it's not working. Know when it's time to move on to something else, and know when you get tired of something. You don't have to put up with nonsense. Love yourself, and whatever you do, prioritize your peace. If you don't have no peace about something, or if your gut feeling is telling you something is wrong with this person that you're involved with, your gut feeling is usually right. That's your spirit of discernment. Everybody say, well, just pray about it. But I'm going to say this from the book of James chapter 1. You can pray and have faith, but faith without works is just, what it's the scripture say, faith without works is dead. So what I'm saying to you is, you've got to put some action behind your feelings. You can't walk around with all of this stuff bottled up inside of you until you're about to burst. To start this email off, when the lady said this husband of hers has been repeatedly cheating on her, I have a problem with the word repeatedly. So that means you done been dealing with this over and over and over again. And then she gave me the amount of years she been with him, 40 years, and you've been letting him cheat on you 40 years. And then this is the key I didn't even address. When she say she done had a woman, she said, well, multiple women, she done caught in her house. What man brings another woman into his home he shares with his wife? Somebody looking at me thinking, Pastor K, I know some. I know some. So what I'm saying is you got to get yourself focused. You've got to get your mind in a place where you can think clearly, find some balance. And as I say, you got to prioritize your peace and nurture you. Because if you don't, he gonna run all over you. Love on yourself. That is it. Today's video went a little bit longer, but it was so many emails that wanted me to address something in this video today. I hope I've touched on it. I didn't touch on it all. I didn't even begin to scratch the surface on some of the comments that was made in the emails. I will do it at a later date. Comment, like, and share at the end of the video. Love on you. Don't let nobody walk over you and mistreat you. You don't have to put up with nonsense. Please don't forget to hit the thumbs up, like the video, comment down below, because you're going to help other women. Do something to help your sisters, because some of these women, they're ashamed of themselves. They're ashamed. And my sisters, I'm not berating you and belittling you and downing you, because we all done picked some bad ones, including Pastor KZ. I done had a few bad ones. Now, I haven't had none of that to put up with this abuse and all of that other stuff, because that's a no-go for me. But I've picked some bad ones too. But just understand this. God will see you through. He'll turn it all around. Just keep moving forward with your life. And when you start practicing self-love and self-care, things will turn around for you. I'll see you back tomorrow. It's midweek word tomorrow, so don't miss it.